Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of the Tom's Takes podcast. Folks, college basketball season is just around the corner. I've got the Jays hat on, the Jays polo on, and my guest is a diehard Jays fan. He literally created a whole website that talks about the modern era of Creighton basketball, dating all the way back to 1994. His name is Joe Sobchak. Am I saying that right, Joe?
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Subcheck. Yep. It's closer than most people get.
Sobchak. All right. Yeah. And he runs jaysclassic.com. You can also follow him on X at Jays Classic. It's just Jays Classic. There's no underscore, right, Joe?
Jay's underscore. Yep, Jay's underscore
Okay,
classic.
Jays
Yep.
underscore classic. Okay. Well, Joe, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. This is
Yeah,
gonna be
of
fun.
course. Yeah, it's an honor to have you on. So, Joe, before we get into the nitty gritty about your experiences at the games, I want to talk about the vlog episode first that you saw that I did. So, what were your thoughts on that? It's okay if you have any criticisms for me. I just wanted to give a good snapshot of the average Creighton basketball experience at the CHI. What say you?
I really enjoyed it, honestly. There were some things that you incorporated into that I hadn't even explored myself, just in terms of kind of the outside area of CHI, all the walking paths and everything. Some of that I had never even explored myself. So I thought it was extremely thorough. I thought you did a great job capturing a lot of the history, a lot of the kind of the outside environment in terms of entering the arena and then capturing what it's like to walk the concourse, what it's like to experience a game, some of the different food options. Like I thought it was extremely thorough. I thought it was really cool that you were able to capture things like the Budweiser video and like the tunnel walk and things like that to kind of give viewers an idea of what it is like to go to an average Creighton game. And I would say emphasis on average because obviously the Fairleigh Dickinson game isn't going to be the most high energy atmosphere, but it was a good idea of like, if you're just going to any random Creighton game, this is kind of what you might expect. So I thought it was a really well done episode, really thorough. I just like all the historical elements you added. There was things that I learned that I had no idea about. So I didn't know that Creighton was originally their original nickname was the Hilltoppers. That was news to me. So yeah, I thought it was really interesting. I really don't have any critiques. I thought it was really well done, and I think over time your episodes are getting better and better. So I've really enjoyed them.
Awesome. Really appreciate that, Joe. Before Creighton played at the CHI CenturyLink Quest Center, they played at the Civic Auditorium. Now, as I mentioned to you before, I am too young to remember the Civic all that well. I mean, I remember it. I just don't remember any like Creighton games there. And so, but talk about your memories at the old Civic.
Yeah, so I'm not much older than you, I have a young looking face for sure. So I understand the confusion maybe if people are watching this, but yeah. So I was born in 1994. My original memories of the Civic were I was like 6 years old the first time I ever went, and so I was about nine. Kyle Korver's senior year. So I have a few distinct memories of Kyle Korver's senior year, including they played a bracket buster game against Fresno State, and it was a nail biter. Came down to the end. Creighton won that game. Kyle had a great game. Jay Billis was on the call. If you go back and watch highlights from that, so that was kind of cool. There's that one. There's a game from that season where they play against Southern Illinois, which was their big rival at the time. And Kyle had a second half 3-point flurry where he hits three in a really short amount of time, three consecutive threes, and I can't remember if it was the second or third of those that broke the Missouri Valley record for 3-point makes in a career at that time. So kind of the added extra historical element was kind of cool there. Arena was absolutely rocking, packed, sold out above capacity. Actually, was the number that was released. So if you watch the highlights too, they'll talk about they don't know how the fire marshal was okay with allowing as many people as they did into that game, but and then the other one I want to mention was just the last game they played at the Civic, which was against Wichita State, and so it was Kyle Korver's senior night, and Larry House was actually the star of that game. I think he had like 28 points if I'm remembering correctly. Creighton ended up blowing out Wichita State, but it was just cool because I don't remember it I don't remember the Civic a ton from much before then, but I know that by the time Kyle, you know, had was graduating, they were selling it out pretty regularly. They were filling it with nine almost 10,000 people regularly, whereas not that long before it was only a couple thousand people that they could attract to games. So kind of the growth, and then that transitioned into the CenturyLink, right? Like, are we going to be able to fill out that arena because it was that much bigger?
Yeah, I can actually remember reading a story in the paper about a year ago that Bruce Rasmussen, the AD at the time, he was skeptical to move the basketball team into the Quest CenturyLink CHI because I mean, he knew that there would be good sized crowds. He did not think they'd be able to reach 15,000 on a regular basis. And now, yeah, 15,000 people, that's considered a low attendance game for Creighton these days. It's really incredible how far this program has come, isn't it?
Yeah, to your point, the 15,000 number comes from the fact that when they opened the building, the capacity was 15,500. They added a few thousand extra seats a few years later. And
Hmm.
so yeah, they weren't even sure they were going to be able to get 15.5 initially, but yeah, obviously it took some time. But yeah, they now, like you said, they're consistently top 10, top, usually it's around 6 in the country in terms of capacity, or fan attendance per game, and that's kind of capped by, there are just some arenas that are bigger than the CHI. So there's not really much higher that Creighton can probably go on that list, but to be top 10 in the country consistently is remarkable for a program like Creighton, considering just 30 years ago they were they were struggling in the Missouri Valley.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Joe, let's now get into the nitty gritty. I'm going to pull up my list here of what we're going to go over. We're going to give ratings to all these characteristics or whatnot about the CHI, from location to exterior to interior to the food, to the scoreboard to the cost. Yeah, we're going to tackle it all. So let's first start with location. How do you like the location of the arena?
So first I want to provide just a little bit of context. Like, when I'm comparing and providing ratings, I'm kind of like thinking about the other arenas that I've been to. And so just
Okay.
for like the context, like the arenas that I've been to Allen Fieldhouse for KU, I've been to Madison Square Garden, I've been to Missouri's arena, SLU's arena, T-Mobile, and then I've been to like the old Devaney. So I don't have like a huge base of arenas that I've been to compare it to, but that's kind of like what I was keeping in mind when I'm trying to come up with ratings. And so as far as location goes, I think the location has kind of improved over time as they've built up the areas around it. So originally it was obviously, it's always been downtown, and they had hotels and things like that, accommodations to make it good for traveling from out of state. But I think over time they've gradually built up more and more bars, restaurants, attractions like that to kind of keep the fans in the area for as long as they can prior and post game. So I think the location's improved, and so I rated it as an 8. I think you kind of demonstrated in your video like all the different walking paths, the riverfront. It's really close to TD Ameritrade Park. I think is what is it, Charles Schwab or TD Ameritrade?
Charles Schwab Park
Charles
now.
Schwab. So yeah, it's close to Charles Schwab. And then, like I said, there's the Capital District and things like that. So I think overall it's gotten better, and I think 8 is where I landed.
Yeah, I'd go up a notch. I'd say 10 out of 10. I mean, it's a fantastic location. I love its location next to the river. I love it. It's near downtown. Uh, the only maybe slight drawback is it's not like it could be. I guess it's not all that close to campus. It's walking distance from campus. I mean, I've walked there. I mean, when I was a student, I walked there all the time.
Yeah, it's
But
tougher.
yeah,
It's tougher in the winter months, right? When it's cold, you don't want to necessarily have to walk a super far distance. So yeah, from a student perspective, I do think that probably knocks it down just a touch. But yeah, totally agree. The location's just gotten better and better over time.
yes, and I think you've already hit on what we're about to talk about next, the outside atmosphere. And yes, and yeah, I would say that's a 10 for me because all the bars, the hotels, the restaurants, the entertainment options. I mean, it's fantastic. I just absolutely love it. It reminds me of a mini battery in Atlanta with the Braves built, which I documented over the summer. It's it's got a lot there. A lot is happening there, and I've thoroughly enjoyed my time every time I'm in the Capital District. Even further away, the old market. That's not far away. I've always loved it.
Yeah, no, it's a great point because if you go to some other arenas, like, using Allen Fieldhouse as an example, it's just on campus and then you leave the game and you kind of just have to go back to your car and go home, right? Like you can find a bar like in the area ish, but there's nothing super accessible to walk to hang out with your friends or whoever you went to the game with immediately after. That's not the case with CHI. People meet for dinner before the games all the time. They meet post game for an extra drink, to celebrate a win. So yeah, I think the outside atmosphere is great, and then like yeah, it's not only that. Like there are other there's the restaurants and then there's like the walking paths and stuff too. So if the weather's nice, like you can just kind of mosey around. You don't need to get out of there as quick as you want if you want to just poke around the area a little bit.
Hmm. Yeah, but do you pregame or postgame at the mat often?
I have, yeah, a few times. Yeah, I definitely enjoy the mat.
That's awesome. Moving on to parking and accessibility, I would say this is like a 7 out of 10 for me. I mean, the parking is there. The maybe a slight drawback would be parking lot A, which is actually the parking lot that I go to. I mean, being super familiar with the place, I mean, I know where to go, but a lot of people that are like have assigned parking lot A, yeah, they have a little trouble finding it because it's behind the building instead of all the other lots are. B, C, and D are like right next to the building and pretty easy to see. But not the case with lot A. But and yeah, there's like a bus route. I think there's a bus route that goes there. Um, and there's like a really easy pick up and drop off section that's right in front of the convention center side of the building. If you're taking an Uber or a Lyft, that's just my take. What say you?
Yeah, I had a seven as well. I think if you're like you said, if you're familiar with the arena and everything, it's pretty easy to get creative if you want to figure out like a cheap way to get to the stadium without having to walk a significant distance. So there are some lots that are within a couple blocks that aren't too expensive at all if you want to park in a garage or something like that. But there's also you can hop on, Barrett's Barleycorn has like a bus that'll go to and from the games. There's different options like that too if you want to get creative and so yeah, I don't think it's bad. There are a bunch of different lots, like you said. There's parking garages. Some of them are closer than others. Some of them are more expensive than others. But overall, yeah, I think seven. It's definitely more convenient than other arenas I've been to. And the point you made about Uber, I think, is a super valid one too. Like there's a very great like perfect drop off and pickup point for Uber that's very very convenient. Like it's no trouble to find that either. So yeah, I agree with your assessment there.
Great. Let's go on to the building itself. We'll begin with the exterior. It's it looks like an arena. It looks like a convention center attached to an arena. I mean, the signs are there. It's a pretty grand building, which I really like. I guess my one critique would be it seems like a little bland to me. I guess that's I'm not a huge fan of the color silver to a building. I'm not sure what else they could have painted it, but I would give that. I would say 6. What say you?
So I went a little bit higher. I don't disagree with you. There are elements of it that aren't like the most attractive, but the thing that I like about it is the convention center side. It has kind of that like wave to it, and it makes it kind of a distinct landmark. And it's used, I think, in a lot of like marketing materials for Omaha. It's a skyline feature, especially if you are at like Charles Schwab Park or something like that. It's in the background. It's a pretty distinct landmark. So I went a little higher. I went with an 8, but yeah, I mean there's nothing like extremely appealing about like just the front of the building itself. and yeah, it is just kind of that silver metallic color. So I don't I hear you there, but I do like the convention center like wave architectural element there. But yeah, so I went with an 8.
And let's go on to the interior. I think it's a really good interior. I'm mainly talking about like the arena itself, like the gym, like where all the seats are. I mean, it's not amazing, but it looks good. I mean, every time I see like a picture, every time I see like a Brad Williams photo of it, yeah, I'm like, yeah, that is a really good shot that Brad took of of the building, of the arena of the game. Yeah, it looks very good. There's just something visually pleasing about it. It's not spectacular, but it's serviceable. I would give that an 8 out of 10. What say you?
Yeah, I actually had an 8 as well. The thing that's I guess impressive to me is they keep it up really well. So I mean, the building at this point is what 22 years old, and like I think it's aged really gracefully. I think they do a good job. Kind of they'll every once in a while they'll upgrade the like upholstery on the seats and things like that. But I mean, everyone in the building has their own seat. There's no bleachers. There's the seats are relatively comfortable for. It's not just like your standard baseball game seat. It's got like cushion to it. Every seat has a cup holder and so yeah, I think overall they've continued to just like make sure that it's clean. Like I've never had an issue with like the bathrooms or anything like that. I felt like they do a good job keeping it in good condition. And so yeah, I landed with an 8 too. It's not like unbelievable because yeah, it is 22 years old. There are definitely more modern stadiums out there, but for what they have, they've kept it up really well.
Yes, I agree completely. Moving on to the concourse, I would give this a 9 out of 10. It's wide, it's spacious. There are good viewing areas where you can see the game even while in the concourse. There are plenty of TVs, although those TVs are just a bit off, like maybe 2 seconds off. Like I can, like if I'm watching the game on one of the TVs, I can, yeah, as I'm getting like a beer or something like that, I can hear the crowd roar after a made basket, and then like 2 seconds later, it shows like Jackson McAndrew he actually hitting the three, but that's okay. Um, it's it's good, and the only thing that I wish Creighton would bring back would be the Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom exhibit. That was legendary.
Yeah, yeah, super unique. Yeah, that was cool. That was definitely cool.
Why did they get rid of that?
It's a great question. Yeah, it's a great question.
Yeah. But what say you on the concourse?
I actually went a 10 on the concourse. I loved one thing I love about it too is you can very easily just walk the entire bottom like lower bowl concourse like in one lap if you want to. There's no like dead ends. And yeah, you hit the nail on the head. There's a ton of space. I really do like that you can grab a beer or whatever and stand on the concourse and still see the action if you're in the right spot. There's a few different locations that you can do that. I think that's a really cool element of it. And then yeah, I'm gonna spin um, your TV gripe and say, in some ways, it's kind of nice that it's on like a 2 second delay because you can hear the reaction and then it's almost like a reminder to check the TV and you can then see what actually happens that everyone's responding to. So yeah, you get it kind of spoiled by the crowd, but if you weren't already paying attention to the TV, you get like that little nudge to like, hey, I need to see what's about to happen here while I'm in line for nachos or whatever. So yeah, it would be nice if it was live, but just to spin it the other way, that would be my take there.
Okay, that's a very good take. Let's go on to food. Yeah, this is a pretty up and down for me. I mean, I had chicken fingers and fries at the game on Saturday night, and the chicken fingers they were good. They're always very good. The fries had a little too much seasoning for my liking, and they so that pegs it down. But the other food like hot dogs, you got yeah, you mentioned nachos. Yeah, they're all very good. I had the hot dog from Omaha Steaks
Saw that, yeah. Looked
during
intriguing.
in the episode. That was very good. I would give the food, I would say, not spectacular, but very good. I would give that an 8.5 out of 10. What say you?
Nice. Yeah, I had a 7. And it's probably more so on like my own fault that I haven't explored kind of more of the options to see what they have. But generally, like, yeah, they have all the standard variety, like um, stadium food, right? Like you said, hot dogs, pretzels, nachos,
Hmm.
chicken. I feel like the chicken tenders and fries is like that's the item I feel like I see the most when I'm at the arena. It seems like a really popular one. But then they do have other things like you said, the Omaha Steaks hot dog. They have the E Creamery looked great. I haven't tried that myself, but I feel like I need to. So they do have like other things in like carts and things around the stadium if you kind of explore a little bit. And I haven't. I guess I just haven't explored probably enough. So that's why I had it at a 7. But it's definitely not bad. Like the food you're gonna get is gonna be, at least in my experience, it's like hot, it's fresh. You're not gonna get like a terrible like stale hot dog bun or something like that. It's gonna be pretty good quality for a stadium.
Yeah, well said. Let's go to honoring team history. This is something that I think they could do better on. I mean, they they got the banners on that one end of the building, like all the conference championships, regular season and tournament championships. You got the tournament appearances, Sweet 16s, Elite Eights, and of course the retired numbers on that one side of the building. You got the Bob Gibson, Bob Portman, Bob Harstad, the Bobs,
All the bobs,
Kyle
yeah.
Korver, yeah, Kyle Korver, Doug McDermott, yeah, and hopefully soon Ryan Kalkbrenner, number 11, will be up in those rafters. The one thing that I really wish the school would do is build like a display of all the trophies that this program has won, all the conference championships from the Missouri Valley area, all the one Big East regular season championship we won in 2020. That should be the most prominent, since I believe that's the most prominent trophy this program has won so far. Yeah, but what say you?
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I do like. I think the retired numbers is relatively recent. They didn't. I don't feel like they always had those up, but I do like. I think that's a really nice addition. They always had the banners for, like you said, the postseason appearances, conference championships, things like that. So I think that's nice. They've recently redesigned the court, and so they have like the retired numbers on the court too, which is kind of cool. And they have like some other elements on the court, like prior logos and things like that from previous eras, which is a neat touch too. But yeah, I'm totally with you. I think it's tough because it's not Creighton's building. So I think if it was Creighton's building, they would almost certainly have like the displays you're talking about with all the trophies and add more historical context to what we're currently seeing, and whether it's like a mini Hall of Fame type of section or something like that would be awesome. But it's obviously probably more complicated than that, just because it's technically the city's building, obviously, and we're just an occupant of it. So yeah, it would be nice. I'm sure that there's probably a way that they could do that, and I would definitely encourage that because I think it'd be cool as a fan to be able to kind of have more access to seeing things like the trophies and things that have been earned by the basketball team.
Yep, well said. Yeah, I would give that a score. I would say 6 out of 10. I mean,
That's what
it's
I had to.
there. Yep.
Yeah,
It,
they're trying. Yeah,
they're,
they're not ignoring it. Yeah.
yeah, I
Yep.
just think they could do just a bit better.
Yep.
Let's go to scoreboard. Brand new scoreboard for this season.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, you haven't been to it to see for yourself yet, have you?
I haven't. I saw your little short. I've seen some pictures. It looks incredible. So I couldn't give it anything but a 10 out of 10 just based on what I have seen. And everyone that I've talked to says it's even better in person, but I'm curious to hear what you think of it.
Yes, I agree. I would give it a 10 out of 10 as well. Actually, you know what? Make that a 9 out of 10 because
Okay.
the one thing that I wish that it had is spotlights. Yeah,
Okay.
because yeah, like a lot of arenas in the NBA or in the NHL too, they have like spotlights that just fly around and make it like a more lively atmosphere. Um,
Right.
but
I
but
hear
yeah,
that.
it's still a very good scoreboard. It's very clean. It's very spacious. It's at least I want to say like uh, 5 times bigger than the recent one. It's pretty big, and it's
And we've
got
got the yep the
the
under
underbellies
screens.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing in scoreboards these days. You got to have those underbellies, especially for people that are closer to the
Right.
court, so they don't have to stretch their necks up like this.
Yep.
And
Yep. My
yeah,
speaking of that, my little sister goes to games with my dad all the time, and they have season tickets up in the upper bowl, and she loves just being able to see the scoreboard because she will like watch for stats and things like that,
hmm
and see the replays and everything. And they had an opportunity last year to sit very close to this to the court. I think it was like the second or third row, and so they sat down there for the first few minutes, and she absolutely hated it. She was like, "I can't see the scoreboard. I can't like this is not." It just kind of disrupted her experience of the game because yeah, like you were saying, there wasn't like those underbellies like there is now, and so there wasn't the same access to like the replays, the stats, and things like that she was used to. So it kind of ruined her experience. So they ended up moving back up to their normal seats just so that she was comfortable with the game and had the experience that she was hoping to. But yeah, no, I think that definitely is an improved element of the new scoreboard too. In addition to the size, like the pure size of it is upgraded too.
hmm yep. I saw it in person for the first time. Actually, not for basketball, but for volleyball. I went to the Creighton, Nebraska volleyball game, and I sat in the upper bowl with a buddy of mine, and yeah, even up from up there, I could see it. I could see it very clearly. I could see all the stats. I could see the sponsors that they obviously have to display all the time.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a nice clean scoreboard. Yeah, 9 out of 10. Only wish it was missing, or only wish it had the spotlights. But that's okay. That's just my personal preference.
Yeah.
Uh, let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go to cost. I would say, yeah, Jay's games are pretty cheap. At least if you want, if for the average fan, if you want to just spend your Saturday afternoon at a Jays game playing someone like Butler. I guess a lot of it kind of depends on who the opponent is. Like the UConn, the Marquette games might be more expensive. St. John's too. But if you're going to a game against Butler, against Providence, against someone that's not as good as those guys are, it's it's pretty cheap. Upper bowl tickets are like I want to say 15 to 20 bucks, and it's going to get more expensive as you go into the lower bowl. But yeah, I mean, in the food, it's I think it's pretty reasonably priced. My the chicken tender basket, it costs like I want to say like $10, which is fine for a tender basket. The water only costs like I want to say like 250. It's you're not paying an arm and a leg to go to a Jays game. But what say you?
Yeah, I feel like where they try to get you is with the alcohol. So like that's where it's probably a little steeper. But I think you're totally right. Like yeah, for the bigger opponents, it's going to be more expensive to just get into the building with your ticket. But there are plenty. If you don't want to spend that, there are plenty of games that you can get in for significantly cheaper. And while like they do sell a ton of tickets, you're not gonna you'll be able to get into a lot of those games without much problem. So yeah, like I think for cost, especially for like food items, if you're comparing it to like a standard Big East opponent, if you were to go to an arena on the East Coast, I'm sure those would be significantly more expensive. So from that perspective too, I think it's pretty reasonable. I gave it a 7. So like yeah, I think it just kind of depends on like what you're used to and what your like perspective is, but
hmm
there's ways to go into a Creighton game without feeling like you're having to pay an arm and a leg, right? You can eat before the game if you don't want to spend the money on the concessions or whatever the case is, but it's not too bad to just get into the game at all.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree. I would say a 7 is the right rating there too. Let's move on to this topic. Might be a little controversial. If you know Jay's Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. Fan support and inside atmosphere. I mean, I would give that, I would say, a pretty friendly rating. I would say 8 out of 10. I mean, it's, I mean, the national pundits that have gone to games of ours, they are constantly praising our building. And they typically go for like the bigger games, like the UConn and the Marquette and the St. John's games, which I understand. And yeah, I think our building lives up to the hype for games like that. The only problem is that the atmosphere, the fan support. I mean, the fan support actually, I would say, is great because I mean we are I'm on the average attendance leaders every single year with 16, 17K a game. But yeah, the noise factor, that's where it gets a little iffy. It's not always consistent. There's a lot of complaints about the lower bowl and how they're not loud enough. But yeah, and the students, I don't think they're a ton better. I mean, when I was a student, it was very on and off. I mean, I guess a lot of it kind of depended on who the opponent was. But I mean, when rocking, it's rocking. But yeah, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, it is controversial, and I think the thing about it too is like, I think this is relatively normal across the country for it to like kind of valley with the games that are just not like you're playing Fairleigh Dickinson. It's not going to be rocking for that game, but then you play UConn, right? Like the expectations for those games are just different. So like if you're going to compare it to a place like Kansas, it doesn't quite reach Kansas's peaks. Like Kansas brings it for pretty much every game. Their students are crazy. That building is built for the noise to just be like contained and everything. And so the it's a little tougher because of how like cavernous the building is too at CHI. So yeah, I think the other thing too is like expectations for fans have kind of changed over the years. So now a lot of times they go into the game just expecting Creighton to win, and they kind of like wait for Creighton to do something to get them cheering. Whereas like in some of those bigger games, the crowd understands that they might need to be that extra push to like help Creighton get over the top. So when they're playing UConn, everyone seems to be just a lot more engaged right from the opening tip, and they're trying to help them along rather than react to something great that Creighton did to like get into the game. So I gave it an 8.5, but I think I'm a little biased because the games that I have been going to in recent years are the big games. Like those are the ones that I'll drive up to Omaha for and make sure that I'm in attendance for. So like I went to the Kansas game, the UConn game a couple years ago when they were number one, Marquette last year, like Alabama. Like those are the games I've been prioritizing, and so I feel like I've pretty much only been experiencing the really high level atmospheres of late. But definitely understand that yeah, it peaks and valleys. They're like the students don't always show up, especially over winter break. So like that doesn't help. I do think but for what it is, for the building that it is, for the fact that they can get that many fans in there as consistently as they do, it's hard for me to like really downgrade the atmosphere when like there are schools out there that struggle to get 5,000 people to their games.
Yes, that's very well said. And yeah, and it really we talked about this kind of earlier on, but it really is impressive how this little school in Omaha, how it yeah used to struggle to attract just a couple thousand people a game. A lot of it had to do with team performance, but the team got better, and now this program has become an Omaha institution.
Yeah, and it's become a national brand. Yeah, like it's recognizable around the country. I mean, you listen to national pundits and they take Creighton seriously as a threat in the Big East annually. There's a certain amount of respect that comes along with Creighton's brand that didn't always exist, and so just seeing that rise to national relevance and prominence over the last few decades has been really fun to just kind of watch as a fan.
hmm Yeah, and when the building gets rocking, yeah, like I said, it gets loud,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, and it doesn't. You mentioned how cavernous the place is, and it is. It doesn't have that. uh, built-in advantage that places like KU have. Yeah, and the Jays fans, they make it loud regardless whether there's a built-in advantage or not. Yeah, so that's pretty darn good. That's how good our fan base can be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really does have the feel of an NBA arena, and NBA arenas are not built to create significant home court advantages for the most part. It's created to draw as much revenue and as many fans into the building as they possibly can, and that's kind of more of what CHI is, because again, it's not just a basketball arena. It they have concerts, they have all kinds of events there, so it's meant to be a revenue generating building, and so they're trying to make it as versatile as possible. And so, to your point, it wasn't built to be a basketball arena, but Creighton does a fantastic job of feeling like it is a basketball arena. Like that's the primary focus of the arena, is what it feels like when you're in there for a Creighton game.
Yes, sir. Let's go to amenities like bars, restaurants, kids' play areas, etc. There, I mean, you have the Lexus Lounge. Have you ever been in the Lexus Lounge?
I haven't. I haven't.
Okay, I am in there. It's nothing that terribly special, but yeah, it's I am in there for many games. Not every game, but I've been in there pretty often. I especially went in there all the time when I went with my parents, and they always got me in there because yeah, they sit in section 104, and if you're in 104, 105, if you're in that area, yeah, you automatically get to be
Nice.
in the Lexus Club. But that is like the only like bar area that is like inside the building, and there's like no uh, restaurant obviously. And when it comes to like kids play areas, the only thing that I can think of is like right near where the Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom exhibit used to be, and they've always had this, but there's like balloon artists, face painters, and there's like the selfie station with that
Yep.
Philly Blue Jay statue. That's about as close to a kids play area. It's not really a play area because you're not playing with anything. You're just yeah, you're just getting your face painted, taking a picture with Billy, or getting a silly balloon. But
Right.
yeah, I wish I would give this. I would say probably my lowest score here, a 5 out of 10. I think they can do much better. I mean, they're not doing nothing, but they they should add like games, like basketball themed games, like Pop a Shot,
Yeah, that'd be
or
cool. Yeah.
yeah, NBA 2K, or college basketball. I think the last one was like NCAA basketball 10, or hopefully the latest version comes out soon. We're all waiting for that to happen. But what's the you?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's definitely not designed to be super kid friendly. Like when you go to a baseball game, if you go, I'm a Kansas City resident, so if you go to a Royals game, I mean they have an entire playground set for kids. They have like a little home run derby type setup that you can try if you're a kid. They have like different games out there. So yeah, I definitely agree. It's not like the most kid friendly arena. So yeah, I'm sure there's other ways. I like the idea of like adding Pop a Shot or something like that to just give them something else to do. But yeah, it is an interesting thing. I haven't thought about it too much, but I think that's a fair. So I think a 5 rating is totally reasonable there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And last thing we'll talk about is cheer squad and mascot. Again, this is kind of controversial because I don't think anybody really likes the Blue Crew. Have they made a comeback? Did I hear, or
Yeah, it
are they?
seems like they're back. I don't know the inner workings of the Blue Crew. I don't know exactly what's going on with the Blue Crew, but as far as like the mascot goes, I think Billy does a good job of
Yes.
being engaged with the game, but also taking time for fans. Like I think they do a great job with that. There's like that distinct memory I have of the Seton Hall game after they win, and Billy's like up on the rim, standing on top of the scoreboard, like getting everyone
Yeah.
pumped up when the crowd after everyone stormed the court. So like I think from a mascot perspective, they do really well. The cheer squad themselves, like the cheerleaders, the actual
Hmm.
cheerleaders, I think like the dance team, they all do great. I think it's a pretty solid group. And then I don't know, like the Blue Crew leaves a lot to be desired. I feel like it doesn't feel like it's the same. Like I think of I don't know if they still do this, but at Arizona State they used to do the curtain of distraction. I think is what it
I
was
know what that
called.
is.
Yeah, and so they would have like this curtain that they would hold up behind the basket for during free throws while the opponents were shooting free throws, and then they would like sweep the curtain away, and there would be some like odd thing. It'd be like some guy like acting like he's riding a unicorn or something, like some crazy like distracting element to like try to throw off the free throw shooter. Like Creighton doesn't really have anything like that. Like the Blue Crew, they try to like be invested in the game and like they have like their paint on their faces and stuff, but it's not. I don't know like how effective the Blue Crew is if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. I would say I would give the overall cheer mascot score. I would, yeah, I'd say a 5 out of 10. I think Billy drags the score up because yeah, we all love Billy. He's always been great. He's always engaging with the crowd. He it doesn't matter what version of Billy we get, whether it's the fatter Missouri Valley version with the big blue head, or within the big yellow beak, or it's the more modern version, the Big East version of Billy, with the blue C shirt and the blue head and with the like the grayish, the whitish mouth or whatever beak, I should
Right.
say. But
Yep.
yeah, yeah, very good stuff, Joe. Very good stuff. Um, Now, what are your thoughts on this year's team?
I mean, I'm really excited for this year's team. I always say like some of the teams I get most excited for are the ones where you have a lot of newcomers and you're kind of like turning over an era because there's just so much uncertainty and I'm always so curious to see like how it's going to play out and just based on the first exhibition games we got to see, I think this team has a ton of potential. Coach Mack talks about how deep this team is. I think there's a bunch of guys that can provide um, positive impact on the game. And so, yeah, I can't wait to see kind of what Mac does with the rotations, who ends up kind of stepping up into leadership roles on and off the court, and seeing what this team's capable of. Because I think this version of the team is going to look a lot different and hopefully, I assume, better by the end of the season than it looks right now. And they already look pretty good. So I'm excited for it.
Yep, I think we got depth and we got talent. I mean, we
Tons of
hauled in
talent.
a yes, we hauled in a very good transfer portal class. Nick Graves from Charlotte, Blake Harper from Howard, Josh Dixon, Owen Freeman from Iowa, Austin Swartz from Miami. Yeah, those guys have played some big time basketball, and we've got returners like McAndrew, Green. Yeah, and so yeah, I'm pretty excited for this year. My only question is chemistry because a lot of these guys they yeah are just being thrown into the mix right now. They don't know each other all that well yet because they haven't played in a. They've only been playing each other. They haven't played a ton of like actual opponents yet, other than those two exhibition games against Iowa State and Colorado State. But it's good to get those two exhibition games in because yeah, we want to play someone else and get a
Yeah.
head start on
Yeah, I think
team development.
Yeah, I think the chemistry point is really important because I think Max said in a recent post game press conference that the team as of right now is very selfless. You have a lot of selfless guys. They're doing all the right things, but it gets a little tougher to be selfless and stay in that headspace when you feel like you should be playing more minutes than maybe you are, and because there's so much talent and so many guys on this team that probably deserve to play, it could get a little tougher. Max kind of indicated there's probably a guy or two on the team that deserves to play that's just not going to get to play a ton of minutes. And so, are you able to stay selfless, stay committed to the team cause when you're maybe not playing as many minutes as you hope to? Optimistic because you have returners like Ty Davis and Jason Green and Jackson McAndrew and Isaac Trout that are they're the that you hope that they're going to set the tone for the culture and make sure that the culture is preserved from the previous eras. But it's like you said, it's a lot of newcomers. Hudson Greer's a freshman that's incoming too, so a lot of newcomers to try to mix in and make sure it all kind of comes together. So yeah, it's a really really good point.
Yep. Well, Joe, that's going to be all she wrote in this one. You got any final thoughts?
No, yeah, I appreciate you having me. For anyone who's unfamiliar with my work, like Tom said, you can find me on on Twitter at Jays_classic, jaysclassic.com. I've got the rewatchability index, which is like a list of all the best Creighton games to rewatch from the last 25 years or so. I've got the greatest players of the modern era. And so there's player profiles, there's player highlight reels and things like that. So if you're interested in anything like that, watching your old Nate Funk highlights or Booker Wood Fox, whatever the case is, you can find all that at jaysclassic.com. That was put together in collaboration with White and Blue Review. So I appreciate all the guys over there helping me get that up and running. And then I also have the Jays Classic podcast. So feel free to give that a listen. I like to have fans, fans, Jays former players, media members on that, and we talk Jays hoops year round. So feel free to give that a listen. But like I said, Tom, thanks for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Joe. You're the man. Take care.
Awesome. Go Jays.
Go Jays.